Meteorologist Mark Molnar is your host with Weather Northeastern special winter weather coverage continuing. Let's take a look at Lucas D. from Linden, Texas. He has some winter weather videos to show us. Even in the deep south and northeast Texas here, take a look at the snow across this area. Winter wonderland indeed, as he zooms in on a bird here. The wildlife still trying to get out there and scurge for food, as you can see, and not having very much success as the heavy wet snow clings to everything, making it very difficult for the animals to find food. And of course, we get right to all of these beautiful trees. Look at this snow clinging. This was the same area that Lucas was showing us that had some very springtime early blooming flowers. Look at it now. Lots of heavy wet snow. He described it as blizzard conditions at times and temperatures hovering below freezing the entire event. So look at that overcast sky in this beautiful winter wonderland across Linden, Texas. Thank you, Lucas, for sending these beautiful videos in from your hometown. Let's take a look at wintry conditions, precipitation, liquid form across the east here. Look at that, riding up the base of the Appalachians all the way up through the mid-Atlantic. You can tell we have trouble here with a solid 2 to 3 inches of liquid equivalent, and much of this could be on the frozen side. Out west, it's unfortunate that your dry conditions will continue here. Let's take a look at the scenario setting up here across the east. We're going to have that stalled out frontal boundary across the late Wednesday into Thursday time frame. This was from the first system that moved through on late Tuesday into Wednesday across much of the Northeast, and that frontal boundary will stall across the Mid-Atlantic, Central Appalachians, and the Ohio Valley, where a low pressure system will ride up the Appalachians and into just areas of Northern Virginia, Maryland, and stay just south of the Maryland-Pennsylvania border, targeting the mid-Atlantic, portions of the Northeast, Ohio Valley, and Northern Appalachians in particular, with some heavy snow likely. Let's take a look at those ice totals we're continuing to expect here from Tuesday night into Wednesday across the Northeast. I'm still very concerned across the upper Susquehanna River Valley of the southern tier of New York into northeast Pennsylvania, places like Binghamton, Oneonta, Deposit, heading down towards Scranton, over towards portions of Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, Gailton, Elmira, Ithaca. These areas could be looking at a good significant quarter to as much as a half an inch of ice out of this. Portions of the Finger Lakes getting some heavy icing. Poconos, Catskills, even the southern Poconos getting heavy icing out of this, up to a half an inch of ice. And then, of course, widespread amounts on the 10th to quarter inch range, which is still enough to cause some problems. The bad thing is there will be strong southwesterly winds continuing out of this. First initially northeasterly winds, then starting to change out of the southwest overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning, which could help to topple some of the tree limbs and the power lines. And you can see even some ice accumulations moderate up into portions of New England. Let's take a look at those snowfall totals extending on. This takes Tuesday night into midday Wednesday. Look at this, mostly in the North Country up towards northern New York, the northern White Mountains up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, and then all the way up through portions of northern Maine, where we could see a solid 6 to 10 inches likely. Locally higher amounts in those higher elevations, upwards of a foot likely, but it stays mostly north into the North Country, as most areas will start to mix out here and then change to plain rain during your day on Wednesday. Let's take a look at those snowfall totals I'm expecting. Now this takes into account 7 p.m. on Wednesday into 7 p.m. Thursday. Look at this. South of Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania, we're looking at a solid 6 to 8 inches likely. Places like Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, over towards Atlantic City, and portions closer to the Maryland-Pennsylvania border could get upwards of a foot of snow, maybe locally higher amounts likely. And we even stretch some moderate accumulations across northern New Jersey here, southern downstate New York here, and portions of Scranton could pick upwards of the close to the 5, maybe as much as 6 inches out of this in some areas, especially the southern Poconos. But then you get towards the New York-Pennsylvania border here, Binghamton only picking up on the order of 1, maybe as much as 3 inches, heading back towards Bradford and Erie and Cleveland, maybe only on the order of 1 to 3. We get into portions of southern New England, Long Island, that's where we start to get into the moderate to potentially some areas receiving significant several inches possible out of this, depending on how close this low pressure system rides up along this frontal boundary. But as I said, the heaviest snow will continue south of the Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at those surface maps heading on into your Wednesday. Well, let's take Wednesday here, because most of the area is switching over to light rain likely across the area, areas of drizzle, and then of course that low pressure system riding to the east here, and then we bring temperatures warming across much of the mid-Atlantic into the mid to upper 30s, many areas getting above freezing, heading on into your Thursday or Wednesday night here. Let's take Wednesday night, because conditions start to cool down. Look at these low temperatures cooling down and meeting up with that snow here as that low pressure system rides just south of the Mason-Dixon line here, where we'll get heavy snow breaking out. Any leftover drizzle will change to heavy snow, sleet, and then eventually all over to heavy snow heading on into your Wednesday night here, where Harrisburg and Pittsburgh could pick upwards of the 6 to 10 inches of snow, and lighter amounts further north out of this system. So we head on into your Thursday. Conditions continue to get colder and blustery as that low pressure system rides out to the east here, continuing the heavy snow in places like Atlantic City, maybe even getting some heavier snow bands maybe as far north as northern New Jersey and New York City, Long Island, southern New England here. So we'll have to watch this, because this could pinwheel some of the heavier to moderate snow into your area as well, so we don't want to leave you out. But as I said, the heaviest snow totals will remain along the Maryland-Pennsylvania border and areas just north and south of that, where the axis of heaviest snow sets up across the area. So we're going to take this basically through Thursday, because the short-term forecast is extremely busy. So that does it for your winter storm update. It's almost like 2 winter storms in one. I'm going to have a 5-day outlook for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna region of New York and Northeast Pennsylvania. Don't forget to like me on Facebook at MeteoMark, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMarkTom, it's Twitter at WX Northeastern. Look at these temperatures. We ride through Tuesday night, where we get that ice storm across much of the northern Susquehanna River Valley. 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of ice likely, with that sleet and freezing rain. Heading on into Wednesday, we finally change it over to light rain and drizzle up to 37, but by Wednesday night here, we're back to snow, maybe 1 to 3 inches across the upper Susquehanna River Valley, closer to 3 to 5 inches towards Scranton. Then we head towards your day on Thursday, blustery and colder, temperatures only reaching the lower to mid-teens with those lower wind chills, even lower than that. Heading on into Friday and Saturday, we start a slow warming trend process, maybe actually breaking out some sunshine as well. That's going to do it for this edition of Weather Northeastern.